I never thought a single moment could unravel the tapestry of a life I'd carefully built with someone I held dear. The pain of betrayal sliced through me, sharper than I could have imagined, made worse by the fact that it wasn't a stranger who wounded me, but a woman I'd welcomed into our home. She was my wife's closest friend, someone who had broken bread at our table, her laughter weaving through our gatherings like a familiar melody. I had considered her part of our chosen family, which made the sting of her deception all the more crushing. Not just the betrayal itself, but the public humiliation of being fooled by someone so close. The truth revealed itself by chance. One evening, I came home earlier than anticipated, greeted by the sound of their giggles floating down from upstairs. At first I thought nothing of it. Her friend was a frequent visitor. But the laughter softened into whispers, then morphed into sounds that were unmistakable. When I stepped into our bedroom, the sight burned itself into my heart. My wife, entangled with her dearest companion. Their intimacy exposed in a way that stopped time. They froze, their eyes wide with panic. I stood still, silent, no words or outbursts, just a suffocating quiet. My wife's gaze held a mix of dread and remorse. Her friend fumbled for excuses, her voice trembling. I didn't stay to hear their justifications. I had no use for their empty words. Turning away, I descended the stairs and collapsed onto the living room sofa, waiting in the stillness. Eventually, my wife appeared, her face pale, her body shaking as she murmured, "I'm so sorry. I never wanted you to find out like this." That frail apology, centered on my discovery rather than her choices, laid bare a devastating truth. Her love for me had withered long before. She had been living a secret life, while I, unaware, carried the weight of our sacred promises. That night I walked away. With only a small bag and the fragments of my dignity, I left. Alone in my car, staring down a dark, endless road, a realization hit me. She had taken my trust, my devotion, my loyalty, but I still held power. I could choose to reclaim what truly mattered and rise stronger. And so I did. The first thing I took back was my silence. I refused to give her the turmoil she anticipated. No shouting matches, no desperate pleas, no eruptions of anger. She prepared for a storm, but I gave her nothing. I buried my pain deep inside, letting her drown in the weight of her own guilt. That quiet was more powerful than any argument could have been. The second thing I reclaimed was my future. I would not let her control my path any longer. I hired a lawyer, began divorce proceedings, and ensured our shared possessions were split fairly but with precision. I wasn't cruel, but I was thorough. The house, her most treasured asset, I made sure would be mine to sell. The third thing I took back was my self-worth. She believed her betrayal would break me, but I refused to let her see me falter. I threw myself into exercise, channeled energy into my work, and rebuilt myself. Not for her, not for revenge, but for me. Each day, I woke, faced the pain, and reminded myself that her actions did not define my value. Yet, the hardest battle wasn't the silence, the legal fights, or the lonely nights. It was facing the memories. Walking past restaurants where we'd celebrated milestones, scrolling through photos of trips we'd taken together, hearing songs that once defined us. Each felt poisoned, like a toxin seeping into my past. But slowly, I came to a crucial understanding. Those memories were mine too. Her betrayal couldn't erase the fact that I had loved deeply, passionately, without holding back. Her choices didn't diminish my capacity to love. They only showed she was unworthy of it. As time passed, the divorce was finalized. She reached out, her voicemails filled with tears. "I messed up," she said in one. "I didn't realize what I was doing." But I saw through her sorrow. She wasn't mourning me. She grieved the stability, the comfort, the steadfast devotion I'd offered. She realized, too late, that no one would love her as I had. When she begged for another chance, I answered with steady resolve. "You made your decision. Live with it. I'm choosing myself." In that moment, I knew I had reclaimed my strength. She thought her betrayal would ruin me, but it set me free. It forced me to see the cracks I'd overlooked, the loneliness I'd endured, the parts of myself I'd given up without return. Today, I stand taller than ever, not because I sought this pain but because I overcame it. I walked through the fire of betrayal and emerged scarred but whole. She's left to face the consequences of her choices, While I've discovered what truly matters. Betrayal exposes the fragility of trust, the worth of loyalty, the strength of silence, and above all, your own resilience. It forces you to decide. Surrender to the shadows or step into the light. I chose the light. My wife's affair with her friend aimed to strip me of everything, but I took back my dignity, my pride, and my future. As I walked away, I wasn't broken. I was fortified. Fortified because I refused to let her actions define me. Fortified because I learned that true revenge isn't vengeance, it's healing. Fortified because I chose myself.